This question gets asked all the time, and the truth is we do tend to see lower viral infections during the summer months, the warmer temperatures, and that has to do for a multitude of reasons. One being the higher the temperature, the more humidity, it's harder for respiratory droplets to travel as far. They don't necessarily go as far, so therefore maybe not as contagious. Also, what happens when we have warmer weather? We start opening windows. We're driving with windows down, and you're outside a lot more, so not everyone's in the exact same space. So you do tend to see a decrease in amount, and I do think, as you know, we've heard Dr. Fauci say multiple times, we expect to see an equilibrium within the next couple of months, and then we'll see a decrease of cases. But we can't be surprised if we have a couple more upticks even through the summer months. We have to remember flu season actually starts in August. That's when we start encouraging people to get their flu shots. So I encourage people, when everything seems to be calm and there are a couple of upticks and you see some increased cases again, that's expected. You're going to see the spikes when you have something like this.
She's an associate professor of medicine at NYU Langone Health. Doctor, welcome to the show. So go with it.
Thank you.
If you can talk us through some ways that people can self-quarantine without losing their minds, frankly.
Right. So this is for people who, may have been with someone who was then later diagnosed. Maybe they traveled to one of the suspect areas. They're not sure they have it. They want to be careful in their homes and maybe wait a couple weeks before really spending time with even their family members in their home. Now, that's not always easy, but really want to wipe everything down with bleach. And then there are things that people don't often think about that they're touching that may be shared. So, of course, we know you're not going to share a toothbrush. But what about the toothpaste tube itself? There's some interesting products. This just came out from Hello, which is a single-use chewable tablet of toothpaste. So this is a way that you can have your own dedicated toothpaste. No one else is going to be touching this. You just use it one time, chew it, you have your toothpaste there. So these are little ways you really have to be mindful of everything you're touching. Things like makeup, actually, especially liquid makeup, can actually store the virus and keep it there for days. So you want to be avoiding makeup. You want to avoid wearing contact lenses. This also encourages people to touch their eyes, which we don't want to be doing right now. So stick with your glasses if possible. And really just make sure you're mindful of how you're interacting with other people. Minimize it as much as you can. Try to stay about 6 feet from other people in the home. And, if a delivery person comes to the door and you answer it, in that 1 minute interaction, you try to keep your distance, but that's very unlikely that something's going to happen there. Really, you want to avoid the prolonged face-to-face contact, and it does take a little bit longer than just a minute or so.
Well, those are some great tips, Dr. Rajan. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate your expertise. So essentially, in a nutshell, just pretend that the virus is everywhere and everyone has it, right? Continue to clean up after yourself and keep some distance from people. And if you do that, you're definitely decreasing your risk of not only infecting others, but getting infected yourself. Is that fair enough to say?
Very fair. And by the way, these are things we should be doing, during flu season as well, if you have the flu and you're living with other people. So these are kind of good habits to get into when we're sick and we're living with others. But of course, this is a much more serious situation, so we have to take it more seriously.